Hello my dear viewers, welcome back to Ruhoni Sewing. Welcome to part 2 of this series, and on this series we are going to sew folding pleats. I have linked part 1 video in the description box below where we sew the double umbrella sleeves. As usual, before starting we had to trace the basics pattern for the front and back. When drafting, remember to mark all the necessary points, and then after that I continued with the modification of the neckline. If you remember the story, we started with the heart-shaped neckline, and then now we are here with the V-shaped neckline, both for the front as well as for the back pattern. And then we adjusted our sleeve pattern to get these umbrella sleeves. Now the bottom part. Our bottom part is going to be circular. And for us to draw a pattern, we are going to use this formula. Circumference equals to 2 pi r. This r stands for a radius. And our waist here is the circumference. Okay? So we can say C equals to waist measurement. And now we are going to look for the radius r. This is the one which we are going to use when making pattern for this bottom part. So please allow me to clarify further. This here is our waist, this round here. Remember, when we are measuring our waist, we measure around our body. Now we want to find the radius. This is the center and this is our radius. It will be the same distance in any angle, whether it is on this side, that side, or here. It is going to be the same. So when you are making a circular skirt or a top, like this one here, this is the formula that you are going to use. That circumference equal to 2 pi r. And pi is a constant number, which is 3.14. As simple as that. You don't need even to go any further about this formula. So mathematically, if you are looking for r, you are going to take your circumference, that is your waist, and you are going to divide it by 2 pi. Like I said, pi is 3.14. This is a constant number. So it means you are going to take your waist and divide by 6.28. So now let us look for our r, that is our radius, equals to our waist, and our waist is 36 inches or 91 centimeter, which we are going to divide by 6.28. So when we divide 36 by 6.28, that our measurement is going to be in inches, that is 5.7. Let me be sure. Yes, that is 5.7. That is measurement in inches. And if we take 91 centimeters divided by 6.28, then we are going to get 14.5. So when we look here at our tape measure, that is 14.5. When you flip it the other side, then you are going to find where your 5.7 inches is going to be. And it is almost here at 5 3/4 of an inch, right here. So take your pattern paper, like this one here. You don't need to draw the lines at the sides like we used to. Now take your tape measure and measure from the corner the distance of 5 3/4. That is the distance of your radius. And here we are using inches and not centimeters. If it was centimeter, it is 14.45. Now continue to measure all around. And then here, try to connect the points that you marked when you were measuring. After that, use your ruler to smoothen the line. So that's it. Okay. Now next step, we are going to measure the length of our peplum top from this line. Let's say we are going to choose the length of our peplum top is 7 inches. Measure all around and draw a line as we did with the radius. As usual, do not forget to label. This is our center front or center back, depending on which piece you are cutting at that moment. Opposite to center front is the seam. Again, along this line at the top, add seam allowance, as well as at this line here at the bottom. Back to our drawing, our pattern calls for these 2 box pleats. So first measure these radius all around, and then measure half of that distance and put a mark. Take your ruler and draw a line all the way down. Okay, so before moving on to the next step, let us cut our pattern. Then cut the line we've just drawn into 2 and label the other piece so that you don't mix it, that this is your side seam. Then take your pattern and place it on top of the pattern paper, just like this. Secure your pattern with pins or tape. A reminder, you can just attach your pattern here at the center and not from the beginning, like the way I did it here. But for me, I wanted to be sure that the center front is aligning well with the side of the paper, okay? If you decide to place your pattern here at the center, remember to align your pattern well. Now let us take care of our pleat, but before that, let us decide on the width of our pleat. Let's say we decide to have the width of the pleat to be 4 centimeters. It means we have to double. Just remember the diagram that we've drawn. You can see this pleat. It's like it is folded, okay? They are going to meet at the top. So it means if pleat from this side is 4 centimeters, the other one also from that other side is 4 centimeters. So in short, decide on the total width or length of your pleats. So I'm going to measure 8 centimeters and then I'm going to put a mark. Let me remeasure again. Take the other piece of the pattern and put it where you've just put the mark. Now let us measure the bottom part. First, secure your pattern well at the top and then measure the bottom part. At the bottom, we are also going to measure 8 centimeters and then you put a mark. After that, align your pattern well to the bottom and the top mark and then tape your pattern. After that, try to connect these 2 pieces of the pattern like this. Now take the curved ruler and redraw these lines well at the top as well as at the bottom and then cut your pattern. Now let me share with you the actual pattern. This big one, this is the one that I used. This was my center fold and center back, and that was my seam. So that's the one that I used when I was sewing the peplum. Now back to our pattern. Now measure half the distance of what we had added. Mark a point and draw a straight line. Now it is time to fold our pleat, but first fold the center line and then turn your pattern paper and fold it again. Now that you can see the center clearly, now start to fold the pleat. Fold it toward the center line, just like this. And this fold here is at the center, between the center line and the beginning of our pleat. I hope that is not confusing. Okay, so here we are, just like that. And now continue to fold the other pleat too, towards also the center line like we did before. That's it. Here is our pleat. Now take a tape and tape at the top. Remember, when we are going to sew at the top, okay? That's it. And that's how our pleat is going to look, our box pleat or folding pleat, okay? Now back to our original pattern. As you can see, that was a fold and the other fold from the other side, and that's how we got our pleat. One thing you can notice from here, it is more flared here at the bottom compared to our pattern here, okay? So for this pattern, if I'm going to open it like this, the distance that I measured here at the top is not the same as the one here at the bottom. So it is up to you, because for this pattern, what we measured here at the top is the same as what we measured at the bottom. Here at the top we measured 8, and at the bottom we measured 8 centimeters. And for our actual pattern, the distance at the top is clearly not the same as the one at the bottom. I will give my opinion on the lesson learned video. So here is our center front as well as our center back. With the center back, we are going to add some inches for the zipper, but for the center front, we are going to cut on fold, okay? And center back, we will add 2 inches for the zipper. And on this other side, this is our side seam. So as usual, I started by cutting the fabric, continued with the lining, cutting the sleeves, and also putting together the top part of our peplum top. And this is how it was. Remember, it had the double umbrella sleeves. Now let us continue. So here I started by cutting the center front piece. You can see that it is on fold, but at the sides we need to add the side seam allowance as well at the bottom. And then cut your fabric. Now to the back piece, right sides facing each other, I added 2 inches for the zipper, as you can see here. And then I took the pattern, the front pattern, the fabric, and I placed it on top of this fabric, okay? Making sure the fold line is aligning with the line of the zipper that I've just drawn, just like this. Okay, so let me show you closely. This is now on the zipper side. Then cut your fabric. Put the marks on the fabric to show where the pleats are going to be. I proceed to cut the lining, as you can see here. Then align each fabric with the lining, and then proceed to sew at the bottom, and then get rid of the excess fabric. Then turn your pieces inside out like this and iron so that the seam will lay flat. And here is our pleat on one side. Let me show you closely. That is the top of our pleat, and at the bottom it is like this. So that is our front part, and this is one side of the back. Now let me show you how I did it. So here is our piece, and this one here is the mark, and the other mark is that one there. Now we are going to look for the center between these 2 marks, okay? And put a mark at the center like I do it here. This is our center. Now let us fold our pleat from that mark. You remember this mark that we had? Make sure it is going to align with the mark we've just put at the center. and then take your pin and hold your fabric just like this. Again, on the other side, look for that mark, this one here. Fold your fabric towards that point. You remember this point here at the center, and hold it with a pin. Make sure these folds touch each other. There is no space between them, they touch each other. Now take your piece and attach it to your top. So here we are. I had already attached the zipper, as you can see. And let us now see our pleat from inside. This is our pleat, you can see here, okay? Now let us iron this waist seam as well as the pleat itself.